Hello, and welcome to episode 121 of the 343 podcast. Today, you've got me, Ziyaad Parker, hosting, and I'm joined by my guests, my partners in crime, AF and Jason. AF, what's happening, my man?
I'm good, man. The sun is shining here in Cape Town, so it's a cause for celebration, I guess. But I don't know if that just means me doing the washing instead of doing finding other things to do. But yeah, nah, all good, man, all good. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, all good. As you can see, coming to you live from some generic stadium in the world. I thought I'll change it up a little, trying to compete with Riaz's piano setup. So I thought I'd go with a crowd. Just so we can feel like there's more people here. So maybe I can see Riaz in the background there. I think Ramiz is also in the crowd somewhere in one of the VIP boxes. So yeah, got a bit of a crowd going. Jason, what's happening?
All good, man. All good. I have to echo AF statements. Sun's out. 6 loads of washing are done. We are ready. We can tackle the next week or so. But yeah, it's warm in the afternoon, cold at night. So yeah, getting on. Trying to figure out how I
Uh,
can occupy myself now that there's no football.
you mentioned laundry, and I saw you, lift that shirt up there like you're trying to draw attention to what you're wearing. Please tell us about this green and white piece that you have on. What's the fit?
The fit check. East 5 FC from Scottish League One. Got this piece like
Okay.
probably 2018. I was playing at a team and they were sponsored by Guernsey FC, which is in England. And then we somehow got this. So shout out Greg Britton, I suppose, as a whole, for hooking me up. I didn't expect to go play soccer in like Heideveld and then come out with a East 5. But I mean, yeah, this is my secondary team apparently.
Nice, man. And as always, Asfar, welcome. And as always, you are premature. No deals are signed, but apparently you're here. It could be considered tampering, so be careful. Yeah, it's
Who's to
like
be
it to see
offside?
some. He's
Running
always offside,
before
bro.
the ball has
He
been
was.
played.
He,
Mm.
VAR might
that's
call him up.
a pretty accurate description of the man. Yeah, but it's like to see some different kit. We look forward to seeing what else you can unravel. As long as
Yeah,
Cape Town plays its part and allows you to do your laundry, we could be seeing some more
perfect.
shirts. Yeah, awesome. So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing some transfers. So we're going to look at some transfer stories that are rumored, some transfer stories that are done deals, and some transfer stories that have been reported to be done. Like as Asfar alluded to, Wirtz is here. It's reported that Wirtz is here, but we have yet to see the picture. Um, and yeah, exercise first. Is that aimed at me? Because I definitely exercised last night. I played a game of footy. Um, I don't know, Jason, are you exercising?
I'm actually just coming off the back of a flu, so I haven't been. But
Mm.
yeah, moving away from the team sports, I'm going to be doing a lot more running. So maybe I should document that, and everybody can struggle along with me, or at least watch me
Do it.
struggle. Maybe it makes for
Do it.
some good content.
Yeah, nah, I definitely don't want to watch you struggle. I think I saw enough of that in the past.
Fair play.
If we won't debate habits because when we're looking for you in the middle of the day, it's you always at the gym, so you keep that up and keep rolling. But enough with the pre-match warm-up. Let's get straight into it. So, if what do we have first?
Let's open this up, and we have a
Eh,
guy by the name of Thomas Frank.
Look, in my experience, always difficult to trust somebody with two first names, but I'll leave it in the hands of the chat to hear more about that. But I wanted to start with something a bit more unconventional. I guess we're always doing transfers, talking about players. So I thought we'll kick it off. Also because we're missing Riaz today, let's get Spurs on the docket first. Obviously, Ange lost his job, which we discussed quite a bit, and yeah, the Brentford manager Thomas Frank seems to be the number one option. I haven't heard any rumors about anyone else. It seems that the deal is imminent. So, if I'm going to bring you in here, what do you think drew Spurs to Thomas Frank?
So for the past year, there's been these like rumblings and all of these rumors going around. If Ange does get the boot, is like if Tottenham like sort of parts ways with him, then Thomas Frank is like top of the list to replace him. I didn't like the fact that it was it was so public for such a long time, especially while Ange was still manager over there. But I can see why they've done it. Not that I think that he's a bit better manager than Ange. I still think that Ange is the better option, and Spurs should have rather just like seen it out with him. But I think Thomas Frank is a good enough manager to take the Spurs team forward. If you look at the way his Brighton team has played, it's
Brentford.
sorry, Brentford. If you look at the way Brentford has played, then you can try to see like that sort of wing play, like things like that. Tottenham will be able to thrive with players like James Madison, players like Pedro Porro Evans, at the right back, like busting up the right wing and putting those balls into the box. I think it's a good move, but I still don't agree that it was the right way that they went about it. I think and should have seen it out. And yeah, that's just my 50 cents.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is quite interesting because I'll come back to you so I can make that 50 cents or 1 rand. Because what I want to know from you is having experienced Eric Ten Hag winning a trophy, and he should have been sacked before he won that trophy. But anyway, they let him stay, gave him an extension, and then wasted money to get rid of him later on in the season, which was inevitable. So, do you see the parallels between the two, and do you not think that perhaps a emotion was taken out of it and the right decision was made based on that they probably get to December and still want to sack him?
Look, I mean, the what did Riaz bring up majority of the time over the last few weeks? And that was the core of their defense was injured. And I mean, that's like dead on. Like Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, those are two of the players that Ange would try to count on as much as possible, but he lost them at a very vital time of the season. So if he stayed on and he saw through this new preseason, then I think he would have been fine. I think he would have started the season fine. You would have gotten more signings. He has Champions League now, so you would have gotten top quality signings in, and I think he would have outperformed himself at the starting of next season at least.
Possible. I like your angle. And before we take it over to Jason, some interesting points in the chat. Firstly, I'm just trying to find that here. Someone wanted to know how Jason looks without a beard. I think if you look at Thomas Frank, it could be a good option of what he might look like without that beard. Another good question was, Jason, did you play for Santos? I think I'll let you answer that quickly before I come back to Thomas Frank.
Yeah, so quite a while back. It feels like a lifetime ago. But yeah, I was diehard Team Santos actually. Grew up
There we go. You saw diehard. There was a Mitchells playing United also thrown in there. Okay, but back to Thomas Frank. Good point here from MG Muzaffar Khirdin. I like that he's using the MG logo. Don't know if there's any copyrights involved there, but keep going, my man. I'm assuming that you support Man United because of this comment. But the interesting point here,
I
Jason,
think it's actually a Brentford fan. I think
think
he's
so?
saying if Frank must go, he must leave Brian Mbeumo alone.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Bueno. That could
very much
actually
Man
go.
United.
There we go. See, AF can feel it
Bueno,
through
though.
the waves.
Yeah.
You can feel it through the radio waves or the internet. So Jason, quickly here with Mbeumo, right? That deal obviously is something that could be discussed. But just to build up to that, with the deal with Thomas Frank, it looks like it's going to be £10 million compensation. The thing they're still working through is obviously what his backroom staff is going to bring with and so on. But it seems, inevitable. Do you think that they would be able to bring Mbeumo to Spurs, obviously following his manager, or is he set on going to the big club that is Manchester United?
I don't know. It seems like he's set because before Frank was even confirmed, he was wanting to go there. So I don't think it was a manager-specific decision. And maybe Frank could sway it. There's obviously some European football, and Buemo's 26. So yeah, he could either hedge his bet and go to Man United and hope that he's part of the solution that gets them back into European football, or he could go and get guaranteed European football next season and kind of elevate on the performance that he has posted up this season. Whether it's the same thing, whether the curse of the Spurs comes onto him, I'd like to hope not. I mean, he's an African player after all, so we want to support all of them. But yeah, I don't think unless there's a real Frank's got a real pull. I'm going to say it now. I think it was probably the right decision because without European football, Spurs played atrociously. So maybe this might have been Daniel Levy's best move, and it's something that United should have possibly done last season once Ten Hag had won that thing, actually cut the losses. Sad to see Frank leave Brentford. I think what he's done at them has been nothing short of remarkable. Also, he always used to speak so highly of Arsenal, so now we're losing one of our biggest fans to our North London rivals, so that kind of hurts. But
for fan, he sure made us work.
Yeah, we can still wax so lyrically about us leading up to North London derby. But yeah, interesting. This 10 mil thing is really, yeah, it's really interesting.
Oh, it's what?
Yeah, do you want to take this one?
Why was Sky saying yesterday the transfer window is closing yesterday? That is a good question, Mubin. To fill you in, the Club World Cup is taking place soon, and the squad deadlines is today. So the deadline to announce your squad for the Club World Cup is today. So they open the transfer window early to allow some trading. You know, like if anyone's doing trading out there, you know, you could call it the pre-market. And they have closed it, and they will reopen it next week again, or somewhere later during this month, and then it will proceed as usual. But it was just a bit early for the Club World Cup. So if Mubin, you could just confirm that you have understood that, so we can move forward. Thank you very much. Ramizi saying UNT. I don't know what that means. I'm old, so I can't speak. Oh, there we go. Unreal Betters. Thank you, mate.
But Riaz makes a really good point here about like Thomas Frank being chosen so they don't have to spend money because of what he's able to do with a set budget.
Yeah, that is
the only thing about that is, right? Yeah, the only thing about that is Brentford was set up to maximize that. So Spurs aren't set up to be, I think, make shrewd business deals and have a long-term plan, because I don't think they had any plan. So it's not really as what Frank could do, but it was more what the board could do. So it's interesting to add a good coach into a dysfunctional system, because I think we've seen it at many clubs. So let's see if with the appointment you actually get a change in sort of how they operate, which is very much, yeah, I don't know.
Look,
this is probably the thing.
Leave that for when Riaz makes a return. All I can say is that they do have a squad, they do have players. So if Frank is the type of guy that can come in and assess what he has and work with it, then I don't think they need to be spending too much money for him to be able to maximize whatever he has there, and he can find ways to make that work. So one to watch, interesting. We shall now move on to the next one, which is Jobe Bellingham. So one of the reasons I chose this is because I found it quite interesting that even though Sunderland achieved promotion to the Premier League, he still wants to move on. Again, makes sense because of the club he's going to, which is Borussia Dortmund. So basically following in his brother's footsteps. Again, quite interesting. I think it's Sunderland record fee that they got, around 30 mil that it will come to at the end of it with add-ons and so on. I'm not sure euros or pounds, so forgive me for that. But Jason, what can you tell us about Bellingham?
Well, his first name is Jobe, Ziyaad, so that's the first thing I can give you. Yeah, I think he's been pretty influential in Sunderland's rise. I can't claim to watch a lot of championship football, but from what I've seen, plays a very similar style of game to his brother. So I think it's a good place for him to go. Dortmund have shown in recent years that the young talent have a pathway there. There's a good platform for them. And I'm not going to speak out of... I think they might have confirmed Champions League as well, right? So he'll be playing Champions League or at least European football. So I think it's a good jump for him, even though Sunderland have made it to the Prem. it's a good chance for him to develop, play very competitive football, and yeah, maybe being a team that can compete as opposed to Sunderland coming up this season and then just really trying to hang on and see. There's the age-old story of a team being promoted and then get relegated the following season. So I think it's a shrewd move. A good environment. He'll also be. I think you'll find it hard though because he's coming same surname, obviously same position,
Yeah.
and the sort of success that Jude had, I don't think people predicted it to be as quick. And yeah, I hope that they don't put the same sort of pressure on him. So yeah, I think it's a good move. Sunderland get 28 mil plus obviously the whole promotional payout as well, so they can reinvest it.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, you move into a Champions League club. I also feel like, and I've spoken to a few players about this, not football players, but in other sports, where it's good to move out of your comfort zone, man. So you look at him going to Germany, it's away from home. It's in a different country. You have a lot of things and a lot of growing up to do, which you can attest, obviously, having gone to the States yourself. So I think it's a good move in that way for his development, especially. There is a bit of a difference between him and his brother in terms of he's a bit more of a presence in midfield, a bit more of a unit. He's a bit stronger in that regard. Where I think Jude is a bit more mercurial. He moves a bit more fluid, and he has a bit of a better end product. So again, interesting to watch, knowing that the development pathway from these clubs to Dortmund is quite good. And then Dortmund have shown in the past that they do bring out the best in these youngsters and they're able to sell them on, which is a fantastic model. And speaking of selling them on, and before I jump the gun a little, I might just touch on something that's coming up a bit later. But AF, tell us, with regards to, signing Sancho from Dortmund, what did you see with regards to how they give English players or young English players an opportunity to play and play at a high level?
No, it's actually amazing because I think they provide this platform for these kids to go there and just to express themselves, just to be as the best product that they think that they can be. There was a kid from Cape Town. He went over to Dortmund as well a few years ago. Tashreeq Matthews. Jason, I don't know if you heard of him, if you know about him, but he was a really good technical player. He went through the academy over there. They brought him through the ranks. Unfortunately, he didn't make the first team, but it basically opened doors for him, like in Europe. So he moved on to another European club. But it's very nice what they do and how they sort of develop you. And as we saw with Jadon Sancho, he got to this point where he was playing amazingly well on a weekly basis. City obviously discarded him. They didn't think that he was all that great. He went there, he proved himself. He came to United. He had a very good first season, sort of fell off a bit after that, went to Chelsea, reignited that a bit, and now it looks like you said that we are going to speak a bit about it later. But so I mean,
that environment is key, right? So as we move on to the next one, Dan, apologies for taking so long to get your comment. We would have liked to see him in the premiers. I'm pretty sure that he'd probably be a nice, cheap player on the fantasy FPL. So it would be nice to pick up from the relegation team, but also being in that team, playing every week, we could have actually seen a lot of growth from him and being tested in the Premier League, which is a bit different to being tested in the Bundesliga. But is what it is. He would probably, I mean, it's very likely he either follows his brother to Real Madrid if he's that good, or he probably ends up at United for 150 mil or something along those lines. Time will tell.
That's a Liverpool price. That's not a price that United pays.
Liverpool actually buy like really good players, which we'll come to later. Not testing out the waters here.
I don't know. Darwin Núñez, good, 78 million. We don't hear much about that, but okay, we'll talk about that.
I'm ready for the smoke today, my bro.
I feel like I'm hearing. Did he say
Elanga's goal against United?
Did he say Rasmus Højlund? Hello, is that Rasmus? Hello.
No, you can't compare 19-year-old.
The fees are in a similar price range, man. Don't. Let's get back to another player that United couldn't figure out. Anthony Elanga, who is really good. But yeah, Elanga in talks. Well, Newcastle seem to be interested. There's a lot of talk that Gordon might be on his way out. But even if Gordon stays or leaves, doesn't matter really. They could do with some depth out wide, and with Forest missing out on Champions League football, they're still in Europe, but not Champions League. Newcastle with deep pockets could come in and make an offer that might be too good for them to turn down. There's the whole money story. Is it PPR something? The acronym is
PSR,
PSR, profitability, sustainability rules, cash, all that stuff. There could be some of those
respectability. I think the
things
argument
to
respectability.
there could be some of those things to consider. So if Anthony
Yeah.
Elanga, do you think it would be a good move for him to go to Newcastle, or is he better off staying at Forest?
He plays off the left wing though. They have Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes over there. They tried playing Harvey Barnes on the right wing towards the end of the season when Anthony Gordon came back, and then they pushed Jacob Murphy back to like right back. So I don't know. I don't see this as a good move for him. I feel like if he stays at Forest, he can really just hone his craft so much better. He will be able to play football on a weekly basis. He would still be able to play European competitions, and the owner of Forest really wants to take Forest as far as possible. So I think that there is a project over there. He can be a part of that if he wants to. I just don't think that moving to Newcastle is a good idea for his development because he's still a young player after all.
A lot of clubs seem to be circling around Forest. There's talk of Gibbs White moving, which I don't think is going to happen considering all the shopping that City have done. But if some of the players from Forest do get sold, like especially a guy like Gibbs White, then do you think that's something Elanga thinks about, Jason, where it's like I was getting a lot of my a lot of balls through from Gibbs White, and a lot of Elanga's play was determined by Gibbs White putting him into space and so on. If that guy's gone, then does it change what he can do at Forest, and maybe moving to Newcastle is a better option then?
I mean, it could weigh in his mind, but we spoke earlier about the sort of challenges. So he's faced with two things. If Gibbs White does eventually move on, the first challenge is, okay, am I going to step up and be the guy? Am I going to run things now? Am I going to change the game to suit my skill set, basically? And then on the other hand, if you say maybe he goes to Newcastle, he now takes on the other challenge of trying to compete consistently with somebody who's maybe more established. I mean, Jacob Murphy had the season of his life. Whether he replicates it again, I don't know. He seems like one of those guys that's just consistently going to give you like a goal and assist almost every second game, and it'll be some freak sort of, right?
I think so. I on
so
Murphy. Do a trade there.
So,
throw him in the deal.
Okay, this isn't the NBA, no? Please just calm down. So Anthony Elanga is in a good position because he had an exceptionally good season. And he showed that the grass is greener when you leave Manchester. So yeah, I think the next challenge is either to cement himself and be that guy at Nottingham Forest, or then do another season where he sort of plays like second fiddle, maybe first choice now and again. But yeah, it's just where his mind is at. And I think the Gibbs White move might sway him, but ultimately, if you are a person of, I think, self-motivation, let's say that, and you're very internally driven, which Anthony Elanga seems like he is, you'd want to back yourself to take Forest back to the Champions League. And yeah, so I think...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one to watch. And while we move on to the next guy, just to end off on Elanga, I read an article the other day about that generation. They seem to be jumping jobs, every 1 to 2 years. So maybe it's one of those things where after 1 or 2 seasons, like, okay, new challenge, new environment, and you keep moving up, you keep getting increases in your pay and so on. So maybe it's one of those things where we come from a time where players used to stay at one club for a long period of time, and that was how it was done. But it seems to be guys are moving around a lot quicker now. And maybe that's just his path, constant development, constant pressure. And yeah, it gives him a go. I think Remy is probably on the right track there. Give Elanga another season at Forest and then move on. But if you were the club, you probably want to sell at the highest value. It's a risk unless you think he's going to be better this season and his value will go up. You might actually take 50 mil if it gets put on the table. So
Yeah.
moving on, let's see who we have next. Magic Mike. So Chelsea, in their infinite wisdom and love for goalkeepers, are now looking to sign another goalkeeper in Mike Maignan, Magic Mike, as is known around the footballing world. Interesting because he's coming towards the end of his contract. I think he has a year left, and it seemed as if Chelsea were really keen to get him in the squad for the Club World Cup. But obviously they were unable to do that as the deal fell through because of a massive gulf in valuation. So Chelsea sent in a low bid in comparison to what AC Milan want. And I think Mike is the captain of AC Milan. They didn't do too well this season, so could be time for him to move on. But AF, do Chelsea need another keeper, and is Magic Mike the answer?
So a lot of the Chelsea fans they are not fans of Robert Sanchez. Some people would say that they would rather take Jorgensen in the polls, and then it's like wait for the other ones to sort of develop in their loan spells and then come back as stronger. But I think getting a new goalkeeper in right now would be probably the best thing for them to do, because he is sort of their weak link in the team. They know that there's always a mistake in him sometime during the 90 minutes. But somebody did, I can't remember, I think it was either on Threads or on Twitter yesterday, I read like a statistical analysis of how Mike Maignan's performances have also sort of like nosedived since January. So over the last like 5 months or so of the season, his performances, like I think his who scored ratings went down to like around about like 6.05, and in the first half of the season it was just under 7. So yeah, like that's also something maybe AC Milan could see it as something to just cut their losses, get the 20 mil in, and use that to propel their club a bit better.
Look, if I'm not really laughing at you, it's just this comment from Mubin because
No, I saw it.
did we not cover this, bruh? Like, did he lose
We did it
reception
for
or
him.
something? Did his Wi-Fi cut or what's his buzz, bruh? I'm a bit worried there. I won't give away.
Maybe just rewind, man. Just
reset your router or
after
something.
the minutes.
You can just rewind there to the starting of the show.
You must reset his router. It seems,
first 10 minutes.
So I mean, good points, AF. I think like you said, Magic Mike did drop off a bit. But I mean, that club was in turmoil and he was a captain, so a lot of the blame got put on him. But there is definitely a good player in there. I mean, he represented Milan well over the past couple of seasons. He's been their leader, when they've had a lot of things happening around him. And we know that Chelsea have an inexperienced backline, inexperienced keeper for the most part. I mean, Sanchez is experienced, but he doesn't seem like that leader, man. So could it be that, to make up for some of the performance, he might be the drop off, maybe he's still a solid keeper, but does he bring that experience into the backline, Jason?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's also, if I'm not mistaken, he is the French number 1, right? He's worked his way up to being like second fiddle there to now suddenly being the first choice after. Thankfully, they let Hugo Lloris retire.
He just wanted to go in America. That's all.
Yeah, that's literally it. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if there's a World Cup happening there. Don't be surprised if Hugo Lloris is back in. But yeah, I think it's a good keeper. I think when I was reading up on this, the reports were that Chelsea were not in the market, but they were offered the opportunity to sign Magic Mike, and then they said, okay, look, it's a French international, let's try and get him in. They just sort of got rid of Marcus Bertinelli. He's now gone to City to fill the Scott Carson role, third choice keeper. Just going to be traveling, probably the most exclusive job to have, right? You get to travel, you get to play a bit, you also get to get a handsome salary. Pick up a medal every time, and all you must do is just warm up Edison, warm up Steven Ortega, and then you can just go sit in the stands again. But yeah, having just lost Bertinelli, they still have like 9 other keepers. So yeah, whilst maybe signing him would be the best thing, it kind of, I'd say it undermines what they tried to do when they signed all those other young keepers and sent them out loan to have them develop and those things. Like, yes, it is a sore point to have Robert Sanchez there, and I'm sure our friend Shripad would be able to tell us that he has a twin brother in certain games, and first off it's Robert Sanchez, second off is Rob Sanchez. But yeah, maybe they must cut the ties with him and then actually just stick it out with somebody else and give them the chance to. Look, Rami's not a lot. I've got a bum hamstring and I'm wearing a second-hand kit from Scotland. So I don't know if I'm less than what a free agent would be.
A
I don't know.
A pakkie spookies and a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah,
You've
so
seen, and it's as simple as that. And you still didn't give it to me. So I don't know. Like maybe I'm
Look
really
here, the
worth
offer
less
was
than
there. You were like, nah, I don't want your
Aye.
peanut butter. I'm rather just gonna go home instead.
Look here.
So
that sounds about right. Thanks, Jason. Great input there. And as Sadiq enters, can we please move on to the next player? Thank you.
100%, please. Let's move on to AF's favorite club.
There we
Bayer
go. So
Leverkusen.
I
Bayer
mean,
Leverkusen.
look. I can tee this up, but I feel I won't do it justice. AF has turned his camera off in protest for some reason. He's disappeared. I don't know what's happening, but obviously, Liverpool fans, this is your time to shine. Florian Wirtz to Liverpool for a record fee of 150 mil. After considering all the add-ons and so on. Yeah, I mean they've smashed their record, which I think was Darwin Nunes, which I have mentioned earlier. And it's one of the biggest signings in the Premier League as well. So
it is the biggest, I think.
before
It is the biggest,
before we get to AF, because I think he's gonna change the tone a little bit here. Let's just go to Jason first and tell us a little bit about this mercurial talent that is apparently one of the best players in the world based on the fee. What can you tell us about Florian Wirtz?
Really good German international. Very influential in Bayer Leverkusen's league win. I think it wasn't last season before. I mean, the season's done now, so Bayern won it. And then before that, Xabi Alonso used him very well, playing in the pockets, very creative, very deceptive with movements, actually really strong as well for his body size, body frame, and all those things. The 150 mil is, I suppose, just you signing your. Don't tempt me with a good time, no, please. But I think the 150 mil is as a result of the market. It's what you signing the player plus the potential. It's the same reason that, I mean, at the time when Neymar moved to PSG, Coutinho moved to Barca, it's completely spiraled out of control. Is he worth 150? I don't think so. Is he a great player? Yes. Great acquisition. Liverpool then fill in a gap that maybe they lacked in terms of that midfield creativity. I thought they signed Dominic Szoboszlai for that. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe some of the Liverpool fans can then tell me. I thought he was supposed to bring some sort of creativity. But yeah, it just adds an extra wheel onto the machine. I think I'm going to leave it for AF to rather talk about his true feelings.
Yeah.
I was looking at it from a very objective point of view.
I can see that cloud coming from Liverpool. So while it's on it or while it's rolling in, I'll just be the thunder that comes before the storm. So what I was reading and some of the in talk out there is basically that Wirtz gives them two options. So they could essentially play in the 10 role, like some of the guys, as you were saying in the chat there, where you could be playing behind some sort of striker, whoever that is, if it's still Nunes or if it's someone else playing through the middle. He could also play up front and lead the line as sort of a false nine. Because you must remember with Liverpool, right? They get goals from pretty much everywhere, and their top goal scorer is wide right. So it's Salah coming off the wing. So they don't need their number 9. We saw it with Firmino back in the day as well. They don't need that number 9 to score goals like other clubs might need a striker. Like that flag behind you, Jason. So I think they're giving themselves some flexibility. He can play across that front three, I guess. He can slot in behind whoever they put in as a striker. Look, for me personally, and I might be a bit of a wet blanket here. I don't really care too much about the transfer fee, man. Like you said, you're paying what the market dictates. So just because you paid 150 for a guy doesn't mean that he's now suddenly better than someone who costs less or whatever the case is. You're paying what the market dictates. I mean, Liverpool had to fight
Yeah,
off City. There were a couple other clubs, so it's a big win for Liverpool. And to to buy such a player and make such a statement signing after winning the trophy, I think that is the thing
yeah,
that stands out for me as the big win in this deal. Is that you were already the best team in England, and now you're strengthening with these type of signings that they are making. And yes, when we get to AF and we can see all the ways it could not work, I think that this is ultimately what you want to see if you're a Liverpool fan, is that you're not
yeah,
happy to just win the league with what you have. You now need to keep signing big players. And I'm sure any of us, any of the other clubs would have loved a player like Wirtz. Um, and then just to bring AF in here, we've seen, I think
Wait, just
Liverpool.
wait quickly before we also just to add to that, right? There's a growing trend of all the best young players to go to Bayern.
Yeah,
So I think we have to also commend the fact that he's
Yeah.
sort of not gone there and he's now
yeah,
taking a chance on himself. So yeah, that's also a big thing and fully agree. You're paying for what the market dictates. He's not asking for 150. He wants to leave.
exactly.
Buy a Leverkusen got 150. So yeah,
Yeah,
we will see
yeah,
whether
no,
Liverpool's the schmucks or whether
Yeah.
yeah.
anything
That's
else.
that's actually a very sorry, Ziyaad, you can go.
Nah, you take that. I think I've kept you out long enough. Roll
No,
in with
I
the
was just
storm.
gonna say that's a very good segue because if you look at what Bayer Leverkusen got Wirtz for, they got it for 200,000 euros, and then they
Yeah,
sold him for 150. That is some crazy business over there.
yeah,
And Bayern Munich they were never going to pay that amount of money for any player.
mm,
They will always, especially when it comes to Bundesliga players, they will always look for sort of the easy way out and just try to sort of dangle that we are the best team in Germany thing, so that you can try to make the Germany international team. But yeah, like good on him for testing himself or wanting to test himself outside of the Bundesliga, going to the Premier League. Um, I do, however, think that because of this transfer fee, it's going to affect. It's going to
mm.
have a ripple effect. We spoke about Neymar to PSG and stuff like that. I read earlier today that now the whole Benjamin Sesko thing at Leipzig saw the 130 mil plus add-ons leading up to 150 for Leverkusen, and that's sort of making them a bit money angry now with the whole Benjamin Sesko deal. So they're probably going to want some more money because it's another German club. Maybe we can get a piece of that pie as well. So it's a bit of a worrying trend for what it can actually have a domino effect on the rest of the transfer window. But yeah, like he's a very good technical player, and the Premier League is
AF.
probably
Let me just pause you there, man. Don't be so nice, man. Tell us what the bad could be. How could this
nah, I'm
unravel
getting
for
there.
Liverpool?
Yeah, you need to start the story.
You
You know, it's a whole
No, no,
story
no. Look
arc.
here,
You have to
AF,
get
AF.
there.
nah,
There's a good cop and there's a bad cop. We've been
Nah,
good
I'm
cop. Now be
getting there.
bad cop
Let
like you were before the show.
let me get there. I'm starting with my praise, and then I'm gonna be like closing the book.
This
So
one's throwing it up to cut him at the
let me
knees.
just talk about like how good he is technically, and coming to the Premier League, you'll be able to test like that sort of technicality. But there's a huge chance that you could also not not prove that 150 mil
Yeah,
was worth it. And we've seen that already so many times. We've seen it with Anthony. We've seen it with Jack Grealish. We've seen it with Darwin Nunes. We've seen it with so many different Chelsea strikers over the last 10 to 12 years. So people come with a huge fee. Are they able? I think Waleed said it in the chat also. Like the price tag can weigh too heavy on these players' shoulders. And are they good enough to try and play through it and actually prove their worth?
yeah, time will tell. And if a club does know about the weight of a high transfer fee, it is definitely Man United. So you are coming from a place where you've experienced, I see a lot of Anthony talk happening there in the chat.
Hmm.
One of the examples we spoke about Sancho earlier on. So yeah, I mean, time will tell. I do think I like it. I like what Liverpool's doing. To be honest, like I said, they're signing from a position of strength, and if it
They're
doesn't
showing
work
that
out,
they want
I
to be
can't say.
competitive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out, it's not like I'm gonna be sad. But credit for what they're doing in the market, and let's see if it leads to bigger and better things. So yeah, what do we have next? right on,
How is it
right on cue.
a Sancho no, from United to Dortmund, a Chelsea kit? That's now a crossover.
Yeah, there was no way I was
Yeah.
putting him in a United kit in this picture. Absolutely not.
He's not
You
even
had
a
to, bruh.
bad player, man. I don't know. Everyone just gets so
Yeah,
Where's
he's
angry
just
where's
at
a
the
where's
bro.
Indy in the chat
misunderstood
there?
player, man. You must come play right.
Where's Indy
Exactly.
in the
They'll
chat?
sort him out quick.
Exactly. It is a bit disappointing that obviously he wasn't able to agree terms with Chelsea, and I don't begrudge him for it because United gave him the contract. So why must he take a discount to go play
Yeah,
somewhere else,
honestly.
or whatever that looks like? And I think he can offer a lot to any sort of team. So look, we've spoken about Dortmund. Obviously, Bellingham's going there. So does Sancho head back there as well? There's also talk a bit later, which will bring Inzi's team Chelsea back into it with another English player that could be going in the opposite direction. So I know you told me it's not the NBA, Jason, but if Dortmund are going to be signing players and sending players in similar positions out, why not
Hmm.
just make the trades, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jason, your thoughts? Can Jadon Sancho rediscover the form and the player that he was away from Old Trafford?
I think he can, but I don't think it's back at Dortmund because he tried this thing already. He went to Dortmund, very successful, left Dortmund, went back to Dortmund, came back to United, then went to Chelsea. If he's going to go back, I don't know. I mean, look, third time's a charm, but I think he needs a break from Germany maybe because following a bit of his return to Dortmund, I saw quite a few fans were I think they were on the fence about his sort of performance. They knew him as Jadon Sancho that combined exceptionally well with Erling Haaland, and then he came back and the form was not there. And maybe that's a bigger question and a bigger statement about what happened at United. Maybe some of the confidence was lost, some of the ability was maybe sold off to sort out the mice infestation. I don't know really, but yeah, I think he needs maybe he must go play with Anthony. Maybe he must go to Spain where it's a little less out of the limelight. I think Anthony shone quite a bit there. Even if he goes to Italy, maybe he can rediscover something there, love for pasta or something like that.
Yeah,
I
the
don't think
problem
it's
with
the
going to
best move.
Italy, it seems that you lose your England spot. So if you are in the mix for England, I'm not saying he is or
No,
isn't.
but
I
that
can't
was only
remember if
with
he's in the squad.
Gareth
But
Southgate, isn't it? So it was
okay,
only with Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
So now maybe Tommy T
yeah.
does actually shop there at Gucci and
Tommy T can't even
Dolce
beat
and
Senegal,
such.
bruh. So
Yeah, but it's a strong Senegal team, isn't it?
it is, yeah. No, it was good.
19th in
It's
the
just
world.
a
They were
dagger,
amazing.
at Inzi's old coach. I just thought I'll put it out there.
Yep.
If I'm gonna give you an option here, like on the game shows, you can either jump in or you can pause and move on to the next one. So, what do you feel like doing? You want
Nah,
to weigh
pass
in
for
or
me.
you want to pause? Here we go. Thought as much. Let's bring in the next. There we go. Jamie Gittens. Like I said earlier, wanting to move Sancho in one direction and Jamie Gittens in the other. Another English
Yeah.
player who went to Dortmund and has developed quite well.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, they developed the players well. Should he be interested in going to Chelsea, Jason, or should he be staying at Dortmund? What's better for him?
I don't know. I think he probably feels that he can do something. I think everybody seems to be in awe of Chelsea and the setup. He probably doesn't start immediately, but he's probably a bit better than what they have currently. So put him his season against Sancho's season. I think he brings a different element. He's also got something to prove. I think similarly like Sancho, he was at City's academy, left
Yeah.
there, went to Dortmund. So really following in the Jadon Sancho pathway.
Yeah, I think that's Chelsea's transfer strategy, right? Just sign all players who are at City together, even your coach.
It could
So it was
be. It
Maresca
literally
was
could be
City
that,
under
right? So
23. Palmer
Yeah.
and Delap now together. Gittens, there's Romeo Lavia.
It could be, it
Um,
could be just trying to
Yeah.
establish that team that like won the Premier League title. If we see, I mean, now that you're saying it, Tosin Adarabioyo was also at City and he's
Exactly.
also at
Yeah.
Chelsea.
I couldn't say
So
his
they've
name, that's why I
literally,
kept quiet.
yeah,
They tried getting Nico O'Reilly in January as well.
yeah. So I think it's, I don't know, it's obviously going to be Champions League football for both teams, but if he's wanting to establish himself more and maybe attract better teams, then I think stay at Dortmund. Try and
Yeah.
compete a bit more. Where you almost guaranteed more football. And then if Sancho comes, maybe you can learn also from him, what not to do, what to do. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they
Interesting one.
one of the one of the key factors in the deal was obviously Chelsea trying to get players in for the Club World Cup, right? So obviously now this deal wasn't agreed on.
You muted yourself. Some technical difficulties, everyone.
Yeah, you see, the thing is now, when you buy the nosebleed seats in the stadium, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to have some faulty connections. You're going to have some... Talk to me. Are you back?
Now we lost him again.
Okay. Nice.
Jason, I think you're on the same thought pattern as in the. Can you finish his sentence, perhaps?
I'll be honest with you, it was cutting out just as he was trying to land his points. I didn't quite catch it there, but yeah, I don't know. Gittens, it would be good business for Dortmund again. But I don't know about Chelsea, man. What are your thoughts now? If Sancho does go, are you saying that Gittens starts immediately? Is he going to be behind Pedro Neto? Is he going to be behind Ronnie Madueke?
Thanks, Jason, for that.
No.
Whoa.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, no, I think you can carry on. Jason's on target there.
Yeah. So I think because they're going to be like challenging or trying to challenge across 4 different competitions, that sort of like fight for their positions is going to be very vital. It's going to bring out the best in the players. So I don't think it's a question about, is he going to be behind this one? Is he going to be like sitting on the bench while Pedro Neto starts, or while somebody else is playing first in football? I think it's just like everybody's going to get a fair chance across different competitions. And Enzo Maresca wanted to do that this past season, but it seemed like the players that came in didn't really like. I mean, João Felix came in, and then immediately, like a few months later, he was sent out. So I think his due diligence he's trying to improve that a lot in this window, and trying to get the better talent ID going. So I think it's a good move for Chelsea. I think this is a really good step in the right direction. But yeah, it's not about like he's going to be sitting on the bench while Pedro Neto starts. I think it's going to be a healthy competition.
Okay, sounds good. We'll put a pin in that one. Do we have anything else after this, or are we going into some
one more
mentions?
We have one more, the big one.
The big
one. Yeah. So I think this brings us nicely onto City.
You can't tell me that this brother didn't start his career at Thornhill, though. If you're saying that he didn't, then you're actually lying to me.
He looks like a brew that I saw at Mosque and Bookap once.
Surely.
Yeah.
So apparently City have a strategy of just signing Rayans. Because they got Rayan at Nuri, Rayan Cherki. So if anyone out there is named Rayan, now's your chance to send in your audition. Send in a tape there, your highlight reels. Maybe.
What about Ramizes and Riazes? Do they sign those guys?
I don't know. Could be touch and go.
Fair play.
So again, AF, talk me through. I know you really like this player. What do you make of the deal?
I think he's a really good technical player. A few weeks ago, when United was playing Lyon in the Europa League, I said when De Bruyne leaves, he's probably going to be dead on to sign for City and take that position. and that's exactly what happened. I think he fits the profile.
That's the
of
article
Man
right
City.
there, Jason.
Listen to me more.
Okay,
man.
if we've
Listen
spoken
to me
about
more.
him, but nobody more than AF. AF has been on this guy's case. So yeah. Shout out AF one time with that talent ID, guys. The glasses isn't a prop now. AF uses it to see the future. So it's not like one of those fashion
100,
statements.
100. I can tell you the lottery numbers.
Bifocals.
Just wait until the call is done. I'll tell you.
Cheers.
But yeah, like I think he fits the profile of City. I think he plays Pep Guardiola football, and I think you won't be an upgrade on Kevin De Bruyne because you would have to be insanely good to be that. But yeah, I think he's going to have a really good career over there.
Nice. I mean, it's interesting because City's kind of rebuilding their whole team on the fly, and they're signing a lot of players in all the different positions. And I don't know if Pep has it in him to weave his magic through such a dynamic array of players. And I think something to look at here as well is players like Doku and Grealish who've come into City and played under Pep haven't shone as much. They kind of what you might call a maverick style of player. They play kind of off the cuff. They're not really template or pattern players as much. So Cherki as well is similar to that, where he kind of reads the game and does what the game dictates as opposed to trying to control the game. And I don't know if Pep's going to be able to work with that, or if he becomes kind of suffocated in terms of the talent he has. So just want to watch. Great talent, obviously a mercurial player, but can he thrive?
I think
Pep's
it's
system?
yeah, the Pep system, and we talk about De Bruyne, and his output was exceptional, but a large part of his game was also there's quite a bit of defensive work that went unnoticed because it was basically he's this massive creator, but he also put in a massive shift. I mean, 60 minutes you could see this guy's face was red. It means he was running. That's maybe not going to be the same thing with Ryan Cherki, but it gives City maybe a different avenue and a different style of play as well, where things are a bit more tricky and you need somebody a bit more creative to then break it down when teams are sitting and you need that sort of flair moments. It gives them that option when they can't be sort of methodical in build-up play, and when, I don't know, one of the 6 midfielders that they've also signed recently is not working, they can play this guy if he's not on the field. And it's a good signing, whether he loses a bit of his spark initially at the start, like maybe Marius did, that sort of flair player that had to be basically death by like 1,000 cuts until he sort of understood the system, and then he was able to incorporate that flair again. Time will tell, but really good signing. I think Leon making a good amount of money for him, where a lot of people were talking about how he has this attitude problem and things like that, but you can you have to take it with a pinch of salt because the output is sort of there, and I think Pep's able to handle that sort of maverick personality. So let's see. I think it'll be a good thing. I think they're going to start comparing him, and I think they might have started already, the 40 mil for Cherki versus the 150 for Wirtz, 2 up-and-coming youngsters. Let's see how it's going to go, and we'll see. So it's definitely one to watch it. I'm not comparing them, but, online people can create.
You say you're asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, yeah.
So City,
okay, go.
Sorry, just one quick thing. City signed Ryan Cherki, Ryan Nouri, Naipan, Sive Naipan. They announced he's signing today, or like it was agreed today. Pep Lenders, and there was one.
Johnny Reinders.
AFC might throw in an assistant coach there.
No. That's
want to angle all of
because
the
I want to keep that on because Asfar wrote it up in the chat earlier that we need to talk about it. So I wanted to keep that one warm also. But yeah, so they brought all of those guys in. They still have Bernardo Silva on the book. They have Ilkay Gundogan. They have somebody like Phil Foden, who's still quite young. And
he's 26 now, like 25, my bro.
Yeah. So I mean, like there's still all of these players in the team. It's going to be interesting to see how Pep sort of does his roulette. We know Pep does the roulette every season. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with Naipan coming in as an 18-year-old probably wanting to play first team football as well.
Yeah, I think they are. The academy obviously has lost quite a few players. I think they're probably trying to just replenish it again with a Naipa and move perhaps. And also,
Yeah.
I think that there are going to be quite a few outgoings. Don't be surprised if Bernardo Silva finally leaves after threatening to leave for all these years. Players like Kyle Walker could be out of the door. Couple of other players, perhaps, also on the way out. And then, Pep has his squad of 17, 18 players that he likes to work with. But it's going to be interesting to see how we can, like Yasin saying, rebuild. We haven't really seen him do this because he normally leaves the team before this happens. We has to go take his sabbatical or whatever the case is. It's just because he doesn't want to rebuild. But every man has his
But
price.
we had also, we had also spoken about, sorry, just to break the word, we had spoken about why we suspect something might be happening and why Pep is sort of stockpiling. So there's the whole
Being
115
proactive.
charges and nothing's been spoken about it. So signing these three players as quickly as they have, is there like a ban coming in and he's just trying to sort of get a few future talents in now and then you can breed them in over a few seasons or a few windows rather. It's also one to maybe keep our eye on and just keep a lookout for because they're not going to lose City. The City is part of the Prem product. They are embedded. They've won it in the last 8 out of the last 9 or 10 seasons. So they are there. So to lose them to relegation or demotion, it's not going to happen. But it will be something like a transfer ban. And so if they're trying to get all the deals in, I'd mentioned this earlier, if they're going to be banned for 2 windows, why not just be banned for 3 and then just sign a few more players now? Add it onto the charge if you know that all you're going to get is that transfer ban. So definitely something to.
One of the biggest kept secrets is what's happening with those charges, and we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, with the Club World Cup coming up, they're a big part of that, representing the Premier League. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win it all. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised before Inzi slides into my DMs and starts screaming at me. Chelsea do have a chance, mate. Don't worry. So no need to cry. You did mention the Linders thing, right? I honestly don't see what the big deal is, right? The guy was Jurgen Klopp's assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
And he then went on to be a head coach of another club. I'm assuming it was one of the Red Bull clubs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Salzburg,
Salzburg, right?
The Salzburg.
He didn't do great there at all, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's coming to City as an assistant coach. Like, in what world does this make? What was the comment
that you made?
What did he say?
He said that I would never be an assistant for anybody else other than Jurgen Klopp. If I leave, it will only be a head coach. So,
but also then, look, you must understand, people are fickle, man. Klopp spoke out against Red Bull years ago. Now, I'm not going at you. I'm saying it as a general statement. Klopp spoke out about Red Bull years ago and about how he felt that they were anti-football and all that. Where is he now? He's the head of football at Red Bull.
He's gonna fix it. He's gonna make it not anti-football.
Yeah, he's gonna say that, but while he's doing all of that, he's also getting rich.
Like I said earlier,
people are motivated differently. And
exactly. Everyone has their price.
Everybody has their price, and we hold them to this created standards, right? That we would assume that we would live up to. But bro, put that thing in front of me. It just shows people will move for the right price.
But now, welcome Hamza. I hope you studied Finnish before you came on here, and we don't get into any trouble, hosting you. Just because you came on now, we'll stay a few minutes extra because I was about to end it. We are we were the same fans when the entire season their assistant coach used to play for Everton, Mr. Johnny Heitinger. Then nobody said, how can we have an Everton guy sitting on our bench and stuff like that? So, it's the same thing, man. It's just an assistant coach. It doesn't really, it's not like he's taking Liverpool secrets and going to give it to City. Liverpool not doing anything that
Pep's gonna read his book,
knows.
bro. Didn't Pep write up? I mean, Pep and Pep. Perfect, bro.
So I found that the whole thing a bit strange. Okay, so while we are, if you have any questions in the chat, now's your time to throw it in there. A couple of honorable mentions, just a couple of stories that have developed. Obviously, with United, they always seem to be in the news when it comes to transfers. So, Marcus Rashford, if you can't go to Aston Villa, AF, where else do you think you can move him?
So Deco over at Barcelona, he's talking about getting Rashford over there. I don't know where he'll fit into that team, but I mean, if Deco wants him, then he probably sees some sort of use for him, whether it's through the middle, seeing that Lewandowski is probably reaching a point where he can't play every single game. But yeah, I think Barcelona would probably be the outcome for him. Yeah, I didn't see him linked with anybody else, to be honest.
Yeah, and I also saw Garnacho, something about him. So, do you know anything, any updates on the Garnacho situation?
So with Garnacho, there are two Premier League clubs. It wasn't named, like I don't think Ornstein named the Premier League clubs, and then Napoli, and then a Saudi club. So he has options available.
Yeah, the the Saudi clubs were coming in hard trying to get players to register for the Club World Cup, but that just didn't happen. A lot of guys turned them down. Obviously, Bruno was one of them who turned down the opportunity to play for a Saudi club at the Club World Cup. Another one that I wanted to mention, which we discussed a bit earlier in our chat in our group, was Leroy Sané. So 29 years old. A bit strange to see him on the verge of signing with Galatasaray when I feel like, he could offer a lot more. Maybe he's just done. I don't know. But surely there's a bigger team, Serie A, Premier League, even in Germany itself, maybe somewhere in Spain that would want Leroy Sané, especially as a free agent.
I thought so, right? And I really, but I think it came down to money. So I mean, besides Galatasaray being in Turkey, maybe the guy has some hair follicles he needs to replace. I don't think he's at a loss for hair with all the
Definitely.
hairstyles that he changes. But yeah, I think it came down to wages, and they worked it out to like, it was going to be over 400 a week, and that's Mo Salah levels. I think Salah signed a 400, right, or very close to like 400 a week, and you comparing the two, Sané is good, but he's never put up the numbers that can warrant 400 a week. So I think it's more just a money grab, right? And
Yeah.
I do remember Arsenal were also linked to him. I think we obviously definitely put off by that sort of price. But if you're giving me the two options, he's not gonna. I don't know if he starts on the left because he is obviously a right winger. And I don't think he
Yeah.
starts over Saka. Like that's my honest
Yeah.
opinion. I think we've gotten to a point because of Saka. I don't think we're going to displace him now and move him. Maybe he could be good centrally, but we aren't at that level now where we're experimenting and putting him in the middle or putting him on the left. Like, yes, he can play there, but his best position is the right. So, yeah, curious case about Sane. I think he was always touted to be really good, and I think he showed a lot of promise, and he delivered on many occasions. But now it's almost like there's been a bit of a regression, and I suppose while you are going out, it's a bit strange to go to Turkey, but if they're going to offer you 400 a week, my bro, go.
Yeah, because Osman,
the money
they
and
want him
run.
back, but he's
Yeah.
still in limbo. Look, man, Mubin, check here. I think you need to
Oscar
update
left
your
China.
software, bruh. Oscar stopped playing in China like a season ago, if not longer. Update your software, bruh. Run the updates, or you need to,
Bean's worried
you need
about
to
Kunyatis and giving me a Muslim name. The
he
iOS is
needs
faulty,
to.
my friend.
Bro, press F5 and refresh there, man.
Don't talk about
So
refreshing
yeah.
your computers. Didn't yours balang also?
Nah, it was just my mic, man. My mic, the cable seems to be a bit faulty.
Okay, fair play.
Things happen, man. Things happen, but we roll with it. I like that you were able to, finish off my thought. We won't tell the people that we have kind of meeting, but
Yeah.
yes,
Fair.
we live, right? So I'm giving out the secrets as we go along here. Again, any questions there? Let us know. But I think with the transfer, it's going to be interesting, like Mubin mentioned earlier. The window was open and closed now again, so it will be
Okay,
closed
but
for a
now
couple of days.
just let's just settle this. If nobody's gonna ask a question, Who do you guys believe more? Like, who's your golden source?
David
Is it a
Ornstein.
here we go? Is it a here there we land?
Yes, my bro.
David
There we
Ornstein?
land. Winner.
No,
Winner.
no
Tipa.
catchphrase.
Winner.
Bro.
Tipa. That's my bro.
The Ornstein bomb. The Ornstein bomb. That's all. That's all that I need for it to be a serious thing. I don't
Yeah.
need
No,
the
but
player
you
to be
know,
standing with a shirt or anything like that. I just need an Ornstein tweet, and I know it's happening.
check here. I'm old, man. Walid, to be honest, bruh, it's just some generic stadium. I went on Google and I Googled some virtual backgrounds there. Came up with this
That's again
stadium.
like a
So
third division Mexican stadium.
maybe one of you
El
in the chat.
Tigres.
Yeah, maybe one of you in the chat have the eagle eyes and you can figure out what stadium it is because I definitely don't know. It's definitely not Vrygieskral or Athlone Stadium. EAFC is a good option.
Yeah, Walid,
But yeah, what
Walid
I
is
was saying with the
probably the best EAFC player that I know. So, like, chances are he's probably correct on that.
yo Hamza's ma putting us under pressure. Yeah, he want us to do a full season awards.
No, but that's because our
he
good
just wants to
friend
see his players get
Thomas
crowned, man.
Frank. Yeah, Thomas Frank is gonna be in this awards as first manager of the season.
Yeah, I think so. Like with the transfer thing, I think what I miss is the old where a deal just comes out of nowhere and you're watching transfer
Noel
deadline day
Campbell.
and cars are
Noel
driving
Campbell,
up
bro.
and down.
Yeah.
Guys are rushing to get to a ground to make a signing on a contract.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, man. Where now what happens is these things all leak early. Fabrizio, Ornstein, these guys are reporting it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then when it happens, it's kind of like a anticlimax.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes you are like excited for a bit, but you kind of know, man. And I think
Yeah.
that wonder and surprise and enjoyment of a deal is replaced by the anxiety of watching the rumors and then
Yeah.
waiting for it to happen. So I won't mention our common friend's name because he apparently wants to be incognito online. You know that guy on Instagram that turns the comments off. You know what I'm talking about, right? So that guy seems to be like in a mental state where he's just watching rumors and rumors and rumors, and like when the player finally signs, it's like relief as opposed to excitement, man. And it's just a strange way to be experiencing things because it's just the way the news cycle is, man. Like you just hear
Yeah.
players are gonna move and sign all the time. I agree with Ramiz that fax machine thing was epic.
Yo,
David De Gea
David De Gea.
stays at United.
Even
because-
the
was the legend.
I'm thinking about that Uzil signing, right? They asked Wenger literally before deadline day, is there
Yeah.
going to be any movement? And that smirk, and then you hear that news, and it's like
Yeah.
it takes away literally.
The Wenger, I mean,
100%.
the Uzil one was a big one for us, obviously Arsenal. Like it's so weird because I can remember exactly where I was when the graphic came up on Sky Sports. Like I can remember it
Yeah.
clearly. The other deals that were like similar and quite exciting at the time was I think Berbatov to United. That was also one of
amazing.
those last minute.
Picking him up
Yeah.
at the airport.
Yeah, there was that. There was Robinho to Man City at the start of all this.
He was
where,
supposed to go
you know,
to Man United, my bro.
yeah, things like that, man. It was just fun. Obviously Liverpool when they signed Suarez and Crouch together. That was interesting. Who you think Arsenal will sign for United? Gyökeres this.
I don't know what's happening, to be honest. That's this is like the one saga that I have absolutely no interest in, because now I see that Sporting is fighting with anybody else that's interested in Gyökeres. Gyökeres is threatening to rip up his contract. He's threatening to never play for Sporting again because there was a verbal agreement to let him leave for a certain amount. And now
Sounds
Arsenal's
like that.
threatening to walk away. United's threatening to walk away. So
United's walking nowhere, bruh. United saying we're gonna walk away, then they go around the block and come back because they thought all the other mates are also walking away. Smart move. But with Gyökeres, right? Not Gyökeres, the other one, Osman. There's a lot of talk about how good he is, right? but Eman Jackson's numbers are not dissimilar, to be honest.
Yeah.
And people say Jackson is the inferior striker. Jackson is a work in progress, I think. But I don't know if
Also-
Osman is as good as everyone makes him out to be. And the fact that he just doesn't seem to be able to get a deal across the line anyway is because the market probably agrees that he's not worth what Napoli want and he's not worth the wages that he's asking for.
So I don't think there's any slight on his technical ability. I think he's a really good striker, but I think there's been a lot of ramblings and rumors about his attitude, like on the playground, on match days. Like he doesn't really gel well with his teammates, and he's kind of a root cause for like a toxic environment or a possible toxic environment at the club. So I think a lot of clubs are privy to that sort of intel, and that's why a lot of them are not really interested in him.
Yeah. Could be. I mean, I think I want to end off at this spot since AF is there. Jason, before I end off, anything you want to add on the transfer stuff before I take us to the conclusion?
No, my friend, you can take us home. Just all the best. Don't believe everything that you see, man. Let it be announced by your club. then you'll know
I
it's
just,
official. Okay.
I just want to hear, AF, what do you think about the rumors that Eric Ten Hag could sign Anthony again? I know Ramiz wanted to know what's happening with Anthony. It would be the third time that he signs Anthony.
Just
Is
do it.
Third time's a charm, man.
Sign him, get Onana for free, like buy one, get one free. I don't know. Do it. Just make it
Do
happen.
it. You're all in. Okay, so that's a wrap. It's been fun chatting transfers with all of you. We got through quite a number of players. Obviously, there will be more deals that come through in the next couple of hours, perhaps, and then with the transfer window closing for a bit, it will reopen. So we should be back with some more info on that. But for now, you're gonna have to just deal with rumors because nobody can announce any deals, obviously, until it opens again. I mean, I don't know. Are any of you looking forward to the Club World Cup? Sundowns.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I don't know. Is it gonna be interesting or not? Time will tell. There's a lot of talk about the stadium's going to be empty. People aren't gonna be watching because the players are all cooked. There's the Major League Soccer teams, MLS, protesting about how much money they're gonna get for playing in it because it seems like MLS want to take the money. There's just a lot of things hanging around this tournament, which we'll have to see if the football is strong enough to push through or if it's gonna be a big flop. Obviously, whoever wins it is gonna celebrate it, and obviously it's gonna be a big thing to win the Club World Cup, especially this expanded version. And who knows, maybe we see some new up and coming youngsters, some stars from the other leagues. And I think that for me is the most exciting part of it. I'm not really too interested about the tournament itself, but I think that we are going to see players we don't often get the opportunity to see, and it could be a stage for them to perform and get a deal to a bigger club. I mean, we saw that with I think Salah did that, Chelsea or Liverpool, and then they signed him immediately in the following window. And that happened a lot, right? In the Champions League, players play against a club, they do well, and then suddenly that club comes in for them. So quite interesting. Hamza, 2 thumbs down. Just tell me what that's about before I wrap up here. And
I think he has to go study now, so now he's upset.
Yeah, I think he's probably just like, nah, I'm out, guys.
Yeah.
Because if he really wanted to put the right number of emojis, there should be 3, a space, and then 1 for Senegal beating England.
Is Hamza Senegalese?
He wishes. definitely Hamza's rolling with
Muhammad Hamza Gay. Idrissa Gana Gay's brother.
Running around in the midfield for Liverpool. Either he left or he's busy typing, which we can't see. Is there another after party? Yes, Riaz. If you want to click on the link, you can join us in the after party. Mubin hasn't given us any great content that we can discuss in the post. So I don't know if it's gonna be as interesting as last week. But yeah, pull in for the after party. If anyone else wants to join the after party, we do offer membership packages which we will make available to you soon, for the exclusive access. But thank you guys, thank you for spending the time with us. It was lots of fun. We've done over an hour, which I thought we wouldn't get to, but the chat is varm as usual. Chat is hot, it's on fire. Always a couple of new guys. Waleed, a shout out there, thanks for coming. Mr. MG, Muzaffar Khirdin, another guy that I haven't seen on here before. Obviously Ramiz, we'll give you a special shout out for being here every week along with Mubin. Hamza, obviously, thanks for coming. Hopefully, you do well in your exam whenever the next one is. Inzi, thanks for popping in, my man. You did Chelsea proud. But try to be on more regularly, man. And also bring along the he who must not be named online. And as he, stop coming early, please, and stay till the end. That's some words of wisdom for you. But yeah, that's all from me. AF, as usual, where can the people find you?
Yeah, at AF Parker 642 everywhere. I'm probably not going to be tweeting much about the Club World Cup, but yeah, let's
look, man.
let's see
While we got the men
transfer
here,
needs.
while we got the people here, tell us quickly a bit about your side project. Just give us a plug there for all the comic book people out there.
Yeah, I don't know if the worlds collide here, but yeah, I'll do it anyways.
Let them collide, my friend. Let them collide.
Yeah,
bro,
no,
play the ball up front yourself, man.
I have a side channel called That's Geeky AF, and yeah, it's just comic book breakdowns for live adaptations for movies and TV shows and stuff. So if you watch the movies and you want to know where the characters come from, then I'm your man.
See, if you're like me and I just watch a Marvel movie because AF told me to, I need to know why I'm watching it, man. So I know he needs to tell me. So if you like me and you just watch a Marvel movie because it comes out and or it comes on TV and you're like, okay, cool, it's the next Avengers or whatever, then AF's your man. He'll tell you what the timeline's looking like and what the things are, all the Easter eggs, like they say in the movie industry. Jason, we're talking golf. US Open coming up this weekend. Are you excited?
Always open, my friend. Yeah, pretty excited. I've been loading up on some of the content. Quite a few YouTube creators have been playing the actual course, so that's exciting. Hey, if there's ever a
I'm sure you
crossover,
watch
bro,
Roger Steele play, no?
No, I actually don't watch Roger Steele. I watch Brian Bros. I watch Good. Watch all of those guys. But hey, if we are gonna do a crossover, my bro, and it is comics, no? Give me a review there on Super Strikers, my bro. Talk to me about Shakes, all about those guys. That's the only
That's
crossover
okay,
I
man.
can think of. Yeah.
Ramiz is straight to the point, bruh. Iron Man is dead.
But the one before that, Iron Man's the best, and then Rami's like, Iron Man's dead.
See,
yeah, so
this is what we come for.
I'll be watching a bit of the golf. I don't tweet too much about golf. I haven't found enough people to interact.
Don't lie, bruh.
That
I
sounds
interact with
suspicious.
you shocking, honestly. What are you doing on College Road? What are you doing on College Road?
Running,
Nee, maar
obviously.
bro, you man. Want steeds on College Road.
No, but I was
Are you
running.
are you laughing there by that acne, bruh?
Well, somebody has to call it to your show, isn't it? And I've
Fair
now
enough.
got a face that can taste acne. And also Kusistas, apparently. Shout out to Walid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
But
a
look here.
preview of what you get in the after party. On that note,
Yeah.
that's us. I'm gonna dip. Thanks a lot, and yeah, we'll see you all again next week.